There's a look at Jack Jones on the practice field today. He was not there very long. The Patriots cornerback abruptly left the field after a rep against Kendrick Bourne. He appeared upset as teammates seemingly tried to talk him into staying. Now, Jones did return to the field about 20 minutes later, but he did not resume practicing. All right, welcome into our Arbella Early Edition. For more on this story, let's bring in our football crew. We have Tommy Curran, Phil Perry, Amina Smith is also here, also Ted Johnson. Phil, Tom, you guys were both at practice today. Phil, I'll start with you. Tell everybody what happened. Like, was it a disciplinary thing? Did he just get angry? How do you see?
You kind of nailed it, Trenni. It's hard for us to tell, right, the exact nitty-gritty of what went down in this moment, but it looked like he was a little heated after that rep against Kendrick Bourne. Looked like he helped force an incompletion. Then I saw him talking briefly with cornerbacks coach Mike Pellegrino. He's kind of pacing the sidelines. It looked like he was upset about something. And then about a minute later, he's starting to walk off the field away from his defensive teammates on the sideline. I actually saw Shaun Wade, a fellow cornerback, kind of grab the back of his shoulder pads almost to keep him with the group. And Shaun Wade was kind of laughing. I thought, maybe Jack Jones would take like a 20-step walk away from the crowd just to blow off some steam and circle his way back. He blew off Wade. He kept going. Jabril Peppers ended up running up behind him, putting his arm around him and trying to talk to him. And then we saw him emerge from the facility about 20 minutes later, still fully padded, still with his uniform on, but he didn't partake in the rest of practice. A very odd situation. I don't know if I've ever seen someone leave the practice of their own volition, and I'm guessing at that, and then come back. And the reason I say, Tom, that I think he left of his own volition is usually if you get kicked out, you don't walk back onto the field after.
Nor are guys trying to convince you to stay. Now, obviously, he's going through a lot, given his off-field situation, and there's probably pressures and stresses that he may himself have put him in the position to have, but I wonder how many stressors were impacting him today. But Ted, I've covered this team since 2 years after you started with them in 1995, and I cannot summon a moment in which a player voluntarily left the field.
Maybe there was a time there with Terry Glenn, perhaps, that maybe I think that could have happened with Terry. But you're right, Tom. I mean, it is surprising, and it is surprising that when you consider what the type of summer has been for Jack Jones, you would think that he would be on his absolute best behavior. And the few practices I saw earlier in the week, I saw him making plays out there, guys. I saw him actually, looking very invested, and that the team has him running with a lot of the ones. And so, with an opportunity to maybe put what happened to to him behind him this summer, and then maybe get to be a prominent kind of key player in this defense, is all that opportunity is right there for him, and it looks like he's not taking advantage of that.
Well, you mentioned, Ted, what happened earlier this summer, but we'd be remiss if we didn't really give a history here. It's not like this happened in a vacuum today. Let's take a look back. We probably wouldn't even be talking about this incident if it wasn't for Jones's past. He was dismissed from USC for academic reasons. He served 45 days of house arrest following a burglary of a Panda Express. He was suspended from Arizona State for conduct reasons. Last year, he was suspended by the Patriots for reportedly being late for rehab sessions. And then, of course, he was arrested at Logan Airport on multiple gun charges. Amina, my biggest concern with this is they counted on him. They took a risk on drafting Jack Jones, whose stock had already plummeted. What happens if he loses his temper during a game? What if he is unreliable? Like, my question to the Patriots is, did you do your due diligence to make sure this was someone that when he came to the Patriots, he was going to be the kind of teammate you need to have on a team, which quite frankly isn't all that deep in the secondary?
The Patriots, they made their decision on Jack Jones. And then also Bill Belichick just a month ago, he said, hey, he's going to be there at training camp. So that told me that we are standing behind him regardless of the situation that's happening with the gun charges at Logan Airport and everything like that. But I think that more so what I'm focusing on is his availability for this upcoming season. I do find it strange that the Patriots, they decided to stand with him. But at the same time, he's innocent until proven guilty, so we don't know what's going to happen with that situation. However, it is concerning knowing that they don't have the depth to go through the entire season. But, it's a very confusing situation with Jack Jones, just regardless of the history that he does have.
Guys, I hate to boil it down to whether or not he's a good enough player to withstand all of this, but is he a good enough player, Ted? You kind of giving me a look like I don't like this situation.
Yeah, no, well, it is. I mean, it's an interesting situation, if you will, because it's not only the Patriots that gave him the benefit of the doubt after these gun charges. I mean, they gave him the benefit of the doubt by drafting him, considering all the things that happened in college. They gave him the benefit of the doubt considering what happened at the end of last year, being basically dismissed from the team, and so. You just wonder how much patience they're going to have, but it really shows you guys clearly what they think he is talent-wise. They think he is a first-round talent that went in the fourth round because of these incidences. So they're counting on him to be an impact player for them. That's why he's still on this team.
Oh, yeah, Tom. I mean, if this was Sean Wade, right, going through all these similar circumstances, in all likelihood, he wouldn't be with the team.
I think there's also an aspect of, you're in for a dime, you're in for a dollar. They knew when they hired him as an employee that he had a history. Now, I've had Matthew Slater, I've had Devin McCourty, I've had Gerard Mayo, I've had innumerable people talk about he's a good kid. He's somebody that we like and enjoy. He's just got some issues that are going on. So when you are in for a dime or in for a dollar and you say you're going to stand in the guy's corner, if he has a little bit of a meltdown during practice because of, again, his fault, his decision, needs to be responsible for his own luggage. But do you turn your back on someone that you seemingly have already committed to trying to support? I think we're more amenable to thinking about that in 2023 than we would have been in 1995 or 2005 or 2015. So I think that would probably be the way they'll go. They're down the road holding his hand, trying to make sure he's okay.
Phil, a couple of interceptions for him last year. You had two, of course. We all remember the big play against Aaron Rodgers, his first career interception. Does he have the skills to be an impact player in this secondary?
Oh, yeah, he definitely does. And, players will tell you, Devin has told me, in terms of his ball skills, he's reminiscent of J.C. Jackson. And Devin told me years ago, the first year J.C. Jackson was on the team, before he had all the interceptions that he ended up with, that he was the best tracker of the football that he had seen in his time in New England. That included having guys alongside him like Darrelle Revis, for instance. So Jack Jones is a talented guy. You just don't want to, in my opinion, if you're Bill Belichick, I don't know if you want to start making exceptions for someone like this. There's an old saying in scouting, if you make exceptions in scouting on height and weight and length and all that, then all of a sudden, before you know it, you got a team full of exceptions. You don't want to have a team full of exceptions or even start down that path with stuff that happens off the field.
Right, because it sets a precedent.